Hey, it's Dustin, and today I wanted to answer a question that I got, which is Kindle publishing still worth it? So, if you don't know, before I became a freelance writer, I started off my online writing career by writing ebooks and publishing them on Amazon. That was a good way to get started, I thought. Um, so, the thing is, though, writing for Amazon has got a bit harder over the last few years. Even when I got into it, it was harder. I was past like the Amazon heyday. There were these days where you could just make easy money on Amazon. There were these loopholes that people could exploit to get like extra pages read and stuff like that. There was all kinds of these like Kindle hacks that you could use to get people to read or download your book more. But today, most of those loopholes have been fixed by Amazon. So you really need great content if you want to succeed on Amazon these days. So if you're not planning to write legitimate books that are actually good quality, then I wouldn't get into Kindle publishing. But if you're going to do that, if you're not just looking for like a get rich quick scheme, but you actually want to write books, then it could be a good choice for you. Personally, I moved on from writing ebooks pretty quickly. I wrote about a dozen books on of various different topics and different quality before moving on to freelance writing. So I gave up pretty early, so it's hard for me to tell what my potential could have been if I stuck with it and published like hundreds of books. But today, so I've got those dozen books, and to date I've earned probably about $2,000 in total from Amazon in the last, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years I think it's been. I still get usually about $30 to $50 in royalty payments from Amazon every month coming in, which is pretty sweet. I did the work years ago and I still get consistently paid for it without doing anything. So that's true passive income. That makes me kind of wish that I did put more work into it 2 years ago, but it's hard to tell how those things are going to pay off. I just imagine if I was getting like hundreds of dollars a month, or if I was making like $1,000 a month from Amazon in royalties with no advertising, doing zero work, that'd be pretty sweet. I could basically do whatever I wanted at that point. So I do kind of wish that I put more work into it. If I wasn't doing freelancing right now and I couldn't find any more freelancing work, maybe I'd consider going back to it. So how Amazon works, you put your book up, and then there's kind of this sweet spot that you want to be in where your books are either between $2.99 or $7.99. That's the point that you get a 70% royalty. I think if you go below $2.99, like you can price your book at 99 cents and you'll get lots of sales, but you will only make, I think it's 30%. And then if you go above $9.99, I think it's also 30%. So I don't know what the math is, but I think you'd actually have to go, if you're like $10, you'll make less than if you were selling for $9.99 for sure. I think you'd have to go like above $20 before you're making the same amount again, just because of the way the royalties are split, the 70% versus the 30%. If you are publishing on Amazon, I definitely recommend enrolling in the KDP Select program. It's something that you have to enroll in for 90 days at a time, and it makes your book exclusive to Amazon, but then it allows you to basically lend your book out and then you earn from page views. So Amazon has this, I don't know if it's part of the Amazon Prime or if it's a separate program, but basically you pay like a monthly fee to Amazon and then you can read as many books as you want. So people in that program can download your book if you're in the KDP Select, and then you earn a little bit of money for every page that they read. So that's pretty nice. There's also expanded distribution that you get if you're in the Select program. So you can even get your book put in bookstores. It lets you sell in bulk. You do make less from each sale when you're selling through the expanded distribution, but I don't know, it's pretty nice. I have one book that I published and it was on CreateSpace at the time, but it got picked up by the expanded distribution. I think one place did buy like 12 copies of my book at once, so that was pretty nice. Even if you make a little bit less from each sale, you're getting it sold in bulk, so that's pretty sweet. You can try Amazon advertising, which that's where you advertise your book through the platform so that when people search for something, your book will come up in the number one spot. That's kind of risky. If you are doing ebooks, you want to also offer paperbacks and audiobooks. You have to do a little bit more formatting for the paperbacks, and then you'll either have to do a 50-50 split with somebody for the ebooks for them to narrate it, or you'll have to narrate it yourself, or you can do a one-time payment to get someone to narrate it, and then you get 100% of the royalties from that. But it's probably worth the extra work, at least for the paperback. Maybe the audiobooks, I don't know. I've never done the audiobooks. I don't know how much money to make. Probably depends what your book is. But those are things to consider. But I do recommend Amazon for selling books today. Still, if you're going to sell it anywhere, it's a good platform. It's probably still the best platform when it comes to self-publishing. It's free to get started. You only pay fees when you sell books. It's easy to use, and it gets your book out to one of the largest markets out there. I think Amazon is probably still the number one seller of books online or anywhere. So something to consider. So for me, I think publishing books through Amazon KDP is one of the best ways to get started with making money online. It's a good way to make your first dollar. It kind of gives you the confidence that it is possible to make money online, and then you can kind of pursue other stuff from there. So you might be wondering why I quit publishing ebooks to do freelance writing, Len. So it's kind of different approaches to making money online, I guess. Freelance writing, I usually earn about $50 an hour for the time that I actually spend writing, and I get paid for it. I invoice my clients when the work are done, and I usually get paid in the same month, maybe even like a couple days. Usually most of my clients pay me as soon as I invoice them. They'll pay like a couple days later, so that's pretty sweet. Versus if you're writing books on Amazon, I feel like that's more of a long-term game. So you won't get any payouts from Amazon for the first 90 days, and then your sales will trickle in over months or years. Maybe you do a big book launch, but otherwise pretty much you're just going to be selling like 1 or 2 copies of your book per day or per week if you're lucky, and then the money slowly comes in. So that's just different approaches. If you want to have like a small amount of passive money trickling in, or do you want active freelance money? You get a lot of it at once, but then it's like a one-time thing and you never make money from it again. And then the clients are obviously putting your writing on their website, and then they're making the passive income off of your writing. So different things to take into consideration if you want to do writing on Amazon or not. You can always do both. I'm planning to probably write and publish a novel maybe this November using Amazon KDP. If I do make a book, I'm going to put it back on the Amazon platform at some point in the near future, and then I'm going to try and market the crap out of that thing, either through Amazon or through advertisements on Facebook or Reddit. I'll see what I can do. You got to make a good cover for your book and all that stuff, but that might be my one attempt that I make at writing fiction this year, but I don't plan to go back to writing either fiction or nonfiction on Amazon anytime soon. But if you're just getting started, I do think it's a good way to kind of get into online business. You can make a pen name so you're totally anonymous. Nobody knows that it's your writing. You just put out like a 10 to 15,000 word ebook, and if it sells, you make some money, and if not, you just wasted a few hours to write it, and it's not a huge deal. So I do recommend getting started on Kindle. If you have any interest in writing books, it's definitely the way to go. That's it for me this time. I'm going to have more tips for all kinds of writers here on my channel in the future, so go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up on this video if it was helpful, and if you have any questions about writing on Amazon or using the KDP platform, or basically anything about writing, feel free to leave me a comment as well, and I'll reply to that. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.